Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Death of the Chef. This is episode 6. We are shooting today, Better Than Branberry. We are a bit late on today's episode. We're filming about a week and a half after we said we would, but that's fine. We're here. It's a Wednesday, which is odd for everybody, but we're going to create this unholy amalgam of Better Than Bouillon, cranberry, orange chicken sauce in some kind of paste that could be described as edible. So join us as we thoroughly poison ourselves today on Death of the Chef. So we will begin as we so very often do, and we're just going to kind of throw everything in a pot and hit it with some heat in one form or another and make a thing. So to start, we take a 12-ounce bag of cranberries. We're going to combine it with sugar, salt, orange water, orange chicken sauce, and Better Than Bouillon, because who knows? I don't know. Jake and Tom had a time. They threw some stuff together, and so now we're here with a cooking show. It's an odd train of occurrences. They're doing some odd sway in the background with a malicious grin. It's terrifying me. Either way, we've got our cranberries. You throw them in the pot with not a singular care in the entirety of your existence. You chuck it off frame. You take 3/4 of a cup of water that you've totally pre-measured. They're still swaying. They've assimilated Hugo into the mix. Next, we're going to take an orange. We're going to zest about half of it because I want to use the other half when I do my version, which will hopefully be vastly superior. Is this?
What?
Huh?
Okay.
We're gonna need a bigger shredder.
I'm going to need one that works. It's making a paste. All right, you're gonna roll with your shredder that is inadequate, inefficient, and insufficient. Those are all synonyms and probably far too close to each other to warrant using all three of them, but I don't care because I'm tired and it's a Wednesday, which I already mentioned, but I don't want to do this. I'm excited to make my version. Why is this so outrageously difficult to zest an orange? Swipe that odd paste out on your apron. Take your orange. You slice it in half. I hope that the juice comes out better than the zest. I appreciate the fact that you bought a navel orange so it doesn't have any seeds. And then you just kind of squeeze it. Okay, this is a strange orange. It's like the texture of this. I'm a little confused. I'm bamboozled, if you will. So you take that, set it aside. Second, oh my god, this is robust. It's so impervious to change. Now I'm just covered in orange. This is all so ill-advised and ill thought out. What do we have next? 3/4 of a cup of sugar. That's nowhere close to enough, but whatever. It's not my recipe, so I don't get to decide these things. I just do as you meant. What? What? Tom is like. We've got Tom the color of a cherry. It's sugar, Catherine. I was distracted by Tom, whose face was the color of a chariot. I'm not giving you a sodium overdose today.
They might.
Look, if I'm gonna kill somebody, it's not gonna be through something as stupid as like sodium.
That would be kind of funny though.
Anyway, now we're actually gonna use salt. A pinch of salt as decreed in the recipe. That's maybe half teaspoonish. What? What is your problem now?
No, nothing.
I didn't think so. All right. Oh, sorry. So you can see the label. Better Than Bouillon. Chicken flavored. What's described as a heaping tablespoon. 1. There shouldn't be any in this. There shouldn't be a tablespoon.
Can we blur that
3.
brand?
It shouldn't be heaping.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll blur the brand. Sorry, this is
We added this
concentrated chicken paste.
We added this in while it was boiling. And the sauce.
I'm just going by the recipe.
Yeah.
Oh,
The recipe I sent you did say that, by the way.
that is very heaping.
It's perfect.
Like squash.
Oh, it's not squashed, Parker. A few more cursory smacks to cement the fact that you've made mistakes in your life.
It does look a little bit like yellow cement.
It looks like something.
I heard.
Some questionable orange chicken sauce. Somebody who was there for the creation, do you want to dictate how much I pour in?
We specifically did not measure it out. I guess I'll just tell you when to stop. That's probably all right.
And then, you can get your favorite stirring implement. I've got a spoon. Oh, it's turning yellow. Oh, it is a powerful,
Can we get a mic in that pot?
near radioactive yellow.
I've never heard this sound because when we originally made it, this was all added when it was already boiling.
Don't stir the cranberries before they're boiling, or you might pop some of them prematurely.
The raw cranberries, Tom, they're not popping now. Alright, so we've turned on the heat. We're going to bring it up to high, boil it, and once it reaches a boiling point, we're going to reduce it to medium. According to recipe, that's going to help it gently boil. That's not true. Sugar stays hot for a long time, so it's just going to keep powerfully boiling at medium heat for 10 to 12 minutes. Typically, when you're making cranberry sauce, you want the cranberries to burst. At that point, you're going to reach a thick consistency, and then you usually reduce it, and that's when it will tighten up, and you can season it a little more if you need to. We're not doing any of that. All of best practice is thrown out the window. So, in the name of the recipe, we boil. Something's stuck on my stovetop and it's burning, so I'm gonna clear that up. It's been 10 to 12 minutes. That time has in fact elapsed. The boil has not ceased. We've got as homogeneous a substance as you could probably get by boiling this. It did not reduce in heat, which is what I kind of expected with a gas burner. So we're gonna turn it off, can remove it from the heat, we'll let it cool a bit, we'll put it in a bowl, and we will regret every choice we've made for the entirety of this day. Quite possibly the most deceiving thing we've done so far, actually most certainly is, we've got a bowl of, at an initial glance, cranberry sauce, steaming, not typically the condition in which you would eat it. All of the yellow foam is boiled off in a very pungent aroma. So again, visibly, think, oh, this is gonna be a great time. You're gonna be dead wrong. You're gonna oh my god. Oh. It's like, I'm not gonna make any stretch to say it's good. It's really bad, but it's like a very complex flavor. I can't label it, and it makes me really sad because I now really want actual decent cranberry sauce, and instead I am left with that. Just make cranberry sauce. Leave better than bouillon out of it. You'll have a great time. It's so much fun. Don't do this. You guys can try it.
I didn't like it. It was... I don't like normal cranberry sauce, to be clear. It's, just sort of bad, but that was terrible.
The right side of my tongue hurts. It was bad. I would say a little worse than the original, only because of the temperature and it was more chickeny because of the bouillon.
When Jake and I first made Better Than Branberry, I first described it as cranberry sauce with an entrance and exit fee.
I only had a little bit. At first it tasted disgusting, then it tasted bad, and then it tasted disgusting again.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was texturally bad. It was hot and already congealing, which is a terrible sign. And I don't think I've ever had that much sodium, nor do I want to.
First bite tastes awful. When you stop eating it, it tastes awful. In between, it kind of just tastes like worse cranberry sauce. For this one, personally, there was a little bit more better than bouillon, which made it have more of a chicken-y flavor. I would say this improved it, if slightly. However, it was also much saltier.
0 to 10, not because it's the worst food ever, but because there's no reason someone should make it and there's no reason someone should eat it.
I think I was too generous with how I rated that in the moment. In retrospect, it doesn't even deserve to be said to say that it's not terrible or anything. It is dreadful. It's horrible. It's salty. It's chickeny. It's other adjectives. It's not something that should be produced in any setting, in any regard, at any time, for any reason. Foolish Surprise was worse than that, but that was still utterly dreadful. And Tom at the moment is trying to take some glamour shots for promotional stuff and Instagrams. It doesn't even deserve that. It's just, Foolish Surprise was better solely because it was novel and it was truly unique in its disgust. But Foolish Surprise still tasted terrible. That should not exist, and it is dead to this kitchen. All right, we're done. Tom, I don't know if he finished the bowl. Tom was eating the bowl. Tom didn't finish the bowl, thank God. He put an ice cube in it to bring it down to room temperature. I'm hoping it's been disposed of and nobody shall consume that ever again, but regardless, it's our turn. So we are going to make a cranberry goat cheese chicken roulade. For those of you who don't know what a roulade is, that is meat pounded out flat, laid down with what could be described as a filling, rolled up, baked, and consumed to your enjoyment. Sounds odd in theory, but in practice, they can be quite good. So, I've never done that, to be honest. It's going to be a first for everyone today. So join me as we get started. All right, so for the first step, we need to pound out the chicken. This chicken has been dry brined overnight, so that means that I took it yesterday, I butterflied it, laid it out flat, covered it in salt, and then popped it in the refrigerator, uncovered for, it's been about 24 hours actually at this point. So what that did is that salt pulled a lot of the moisture out of the meat. When that salt dissolved, a lot of that moisture went back into the chicken, reabsorbed. That's going to help deeply season the chicken as well as retain a lot of the moisture when we cook it. So to start, we're going to take our chicken. Got two what were bone on, skin on chicken breasts. Again, they were butterflied. Hopefully with two, our chances of moderate success increase. We'll find out. So take a sheet of plastic wrap, lay it out. You take your handy dandy meat tenderizer, which may or may not be used to slaughter Jake at the end of this. If he does die, I never said that. So then you just kind of knock it out a little bit. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to like tear or damage it. You just kind of want to stretch it out. Get some nice docking in it. Knock it out flat, like such. And then you remove the plastic wrap. You lay down the meat tenderizer. You take it, you flip it. You take the other one, you flip the other one. You lay said plastic wrap once more back over top. You take your meat tenderizer and you go for it. And then you stop. Now you've gotten your aggression from the day out. You reveal the plastic wrap, realize that you did tear it a little bit, but that's fine. Now we do the next step. All right, so we're gonna make the filling for our roulade. I butchered that word. So we're gonna take about 4 ounces of goat cheese. I'm gonna remove it from the package. This is mostly gonna be me making approximations. It's gonna weirdly split in half. The remedy for that is to just not care and toss it all into the food processor. Try to get as much as you can because we don't want to waste food like we did by making better than Branberry. Trying to redeem our sins. For the next ingredient, the titular ingredient of the entirety of the thing, some dried cranberries. These are going to help with a little bit of sweetness that would otherwise be in the, or the sweetness that would be lacking in your standard cranberries. These will help with that, and there will not be quite as much moisture exiting out when they cook. So throwing, I don't know, I did like half a bag, so that's maybe a cup-ish. Not a lot of specifications with the recipe here. This is mostly eyeballed. We're gonna take some ginger here. We're not gonna use all of this, but we're gonna peel it just so that you can get all of this unwanted skin off, as you so often do when you peel. Again, ginger is very, I'm not gonna say harsh, but it is very strong. So you do not want to overuse it because it's gonna overpower the dish very quickly, and some of that heat that definitely is not going to cook out in the remainder of the filling is not something that you want to be incredibly prominent while you're cooking. So we're gonna do this. Try not to slice your thumb off in the process, so maybe use a slightly duller knife. You can chop off that hairy end, which exists for some reason that I cannot tell you because I don't know. Alright, once you've gotten a lot of that off, take your ginger, take your microplane, question why there's still more hair on your ginger, slice said hair off, forget about such problems, and great. I'm gonna do maybe 1/4 to a 1/2 inch, not any more than that, again, because ginger is very overpowering. So once you've got that, you take the paste off. You can always add more. It's much harder to take it away though. In fact, I would say it is damn near impossible. All right, you've got that. I'm gonna do the same thing with the orange. Got the oranges that are the bane of my existence. Is this one gonna cooperate? Probably frickin' not. It's gonna form another paste on the bottom. What the heck is up with these oranges? Either way, you continue to grate. You soldier on, getting juice all over your hands because you didn't bother to buy 2 oranges, which probably saved you from having this grating problem twice. But, alas, cannot change that. So you'll scrape off what little you got, squeeze in some of the remaining juice. I will admit, this is far from ideal. So you just, well, that is a heinous sound. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Aliens, but that's what it sounds like. I'm not wrong. Just want to point that out. But if we get some orange in there, it's actually not the end of the world. That might be a better way. You know what? Yeah, tear off some of the orange, throw it in there. It'll add a bit of moisture. That's okay. We don't add too much, but a little bit's fine. Wipe your hands off. Dispose of that. And then add a little bit of salt. Be very careful with this because the goat cheese is already it's not salty, but it's certainly not sweet. So you don't want to overdo it. A little bit. Close it up. Pop on your lid. Got it right first try. Put it, I don't know, closer to the puree section. Just pull. You've got sections that aren't emulsifying. You can just take a knife, any kind of implement, just kind of push it back down, scrape that off along the sides, and then we're just gonna hold it down for a little while. And you scrape it down again. Go. And we're just going to repeat that one more time, and then we should be all set and ready to proceed. Just hope that this tastes good. And then, most importantly, you try it. And you know, this is pretty good, so you can move on. All right, so now we're going to begin the process of rolling, stuffing, all that fun stuff. To begin, we're going to slice off some of the very apparent excess, like this right here. You don't want to do too much because you're going to have to cut at the end anyway, so it doesn't make sense to trim off a lot immediately, but you want a general rectangular shape. This isn't really going to do all that much for us, so I'm just going to slice that off, set it aside on my cutting board, set the rest aside with it. Actually, we'll start with this one because it is inferior, so it's a good basis to figure out what we want to do. This one could have been pounded out a little thinner, but that's probably okay. I don't know. So we'll take some of our filling, and you just kind of smear some out. Realizing that we now must use the entirety of this because it is now possibly containing salmonella because of the spoon. So now you can be quite as liberal as you would like, and you just kind of go for it. Laughing at the shenanigans off screen, you will now begin to tuck and roll, kinda. Admittedly, this one could have been a little thinner. That's, again, it's totally okay. You're gonna place that on your oiled baking sheet. It looks odd, I know. Actually, we're gonna come back to that one in a second, but it's okay. We endure, we persist. Take a bunch of your filling. Repeat the process. I think I'm in a fever dream right now. I'm spreading goat cheese and cranberries on a piece of chicken while the world collapses around me. What are you doing, Hugo? Though Catherine won't hear it from the future, essentially, say goodbye to Catherine. He's heading out.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, Catherine.
Guys, this is so Death of the Chef of us.
You're ruining the take, Catherine.
You just you said liberal.
Quiet on set. Quiet on set, please. All right. So anyway, we're gonna take this. You're gonna roll this one up too. Figure out which facet from which you would like to roll it. Proceed to roll it. Push it down. Then what I forgot to do on the first one is trim off the edges. Try to trim off the edges. Place that down. I'm going to take your first one, do that again. I will say my hope for this one is kind of waning. I'm not so confident. But you know what? That's what this show is for. We exist solely to innovate. So you're going to take that. I'm going to decide if I want to top this with anything, or I just want to throw it in the oven. We're just going to throw it in the oven. We've got a 370-degree oven. The recipe called for 350 that I referenced. I want to up that a little bit. Get some browning on the exterior. So we're going to pop it in. We'll check it in 20, 25 minutes. Ideally, the inside of the chicken would read 160-ish. So we'll throw it in and hope we reach that point. And away we go. I would say it was like 30 minutes in the oven, more than I expected. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. We're going to find out. It's going to be kind of hit or miss. It's far from my most confident. Hopefully it won't be far from the most delicious though. It's relatively tender actually cutting into it, which I was a little worried about. I was not quite so confident in the dry brine. Oh, okay, that smells okay. The chicken appears to be juicy. Odd cross section-ish. But from that initial bit of sensory input, I'm feeling a little more confident, I suppose. If I can get this on the fork, I promise to tell you how it tastes. But I can't do that, it would seem. Jesus, why is this always where I struggle the most? I'm a 16-year-old human being. That's the oven going off because I pulled it a little early. And then we'll turn that off quickly while I judge this. It's not quite as good as I was hoping, but I really do kind of like it actually. It's interesting, different play of the goat cheese and the cranberries. It's not sweet. Both of those things being savory is a little odd, but I enjoy it actually. I think it's quite good. So you guys can try it.
That was pretty good. It was good chicken with cheese and cranberry sauce. And as a fan of all three of those things, I enjoyed it. It was good food.
It was better than Branberry, which is not surprising because Better Than Branberry is pretty awful.
I mean, I don't like cranberry sauce, but that was an absolute improvement. I will say my initial reaction was, but that was just because I wasn't really expecting it. Overall, it was very salty, but the chicken was great. It was very juicy, and the cranberries were there also, which is I can accept. Vast improvement, probably like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
It was good. Certainly not sweet, which I think did benefits for it. I don't quite know what I was expecting when I went to try it. I was a little taken aback at first, but it was really quite good in the end, I think. The dry brining really helps retain a lot of the moisture, especially using dried cranberries helped with that too. So I'm not complaining. Vast improvement from what we did at first, and I got to try a new thing in the process. I think there's some areas I could improve, but it was a lot of fun. This was supposed to be our season finale for episode 1, but because of all of the support we've been getting, a lot of new people joining the Instagram, subscribing to the YouTube, and just checking things out, we want to keep going with the season, so we ask that you just kind of stick with us as we keep going forward, doing a lot of this new, truly dreadful, utter shenanigans, and that you have fun with us. So thank you for coming, watching episode 6. Adios.